Join, wager, cash in, and get a $150 bonus. Sign up now at tvg.com.
It's January 15th, so that means we're under 4 months to the Run for the Roses, and right now it's time for our Kentucky Derby Watch Prospect segment. And the first horse we are going to take a look at is a horse that's actually nominated for an Eclipse Award as a finalist for your champion 2-year-old colt, and that is Shared Belief for trainer Jerry Hollendorfer. And this is a horse who's a perfect 3 for 3 in his career as we take a look at his stakes debut, the Grade 3 Hollywood Preview, on November 10th.
4 lengths, make it 5, make it 6. Kobe's back is watching him race away. Shared Belief, straight and strong. Wow.
A 7 3/4 length victory in the Grade 3 Hollywood Preview. He would step into Grade 1 company in his next start in the 1 1/16 Cash Call Futurity.
7 lengths in front of Candy Boy. The road to the Kentucky Derby might be through the jungle. Shared Belief, yes!
This is a 3-year-old gelding by Candy Ride out of a Stormcat mare. He was privately purchased out of his career debut by radio and TV personality Jim Rome and company. And we're taking a look at the family tree here for Shared Belief. Candy Ride, he was just as good on turf as he was on the dirt. I think the race that stands out for me in Candy Ride is when he won the 2003 Pacific Classic on the dirt in a 1 1/4 and 1:59 flat. For trainer Ron McAnally. He was a horse that was a perfect 6 for 6 in his career. And the news really about Shared Belief coming recently is he grabbed a quarter, a minor injury in which Jerry Hollendorfer described it. But they do have a couple of options to where they're going to go ahead and place Shared Belief in his next start. It could either be the Bob Lewis Stakes on February 8th. That's a 10-point race towards the Kentucky Derby. The other race that they could be looking at is March 8th, and that is the San Felipe Stakes at Santa Anita. That one has a lot more Derby points. That's a 50-point race to the Derby, or to the Kentucky Derby, if Shared Belief should go in there. And he's a horse that does need those Derby points, because even though he's a perfect 3 for 3 in his career, the Cash Call Futurity was eliminated from point standings this year at Betfair Hollywood Park. So having a little bit of a setback, something you don't want to have in the run-up to the Run for the Roses. But hopefully it's just a minor setback for Shared Belief and his connections. We'll see where Jerry Hollendorfer is going to place the son of Candy Ride either February 8th in the Bob Lewis or March 8th in the San Felipe. Let's take a look now to Gold Hawk for Winchell Thoroughbreds and Steve Asmussen. Here's a look at his second career start. This is his first time going a route of ground at the fairgrounds.
Gold Hawk trying to swoop down, and toward the inside is Purple Sky. Past the 16th, Gold Hawk, son of a preacher, plug catcher, it's Gold Hawk. And Gold Hawk comes away in deep stretch. Gold Hawk won nicely by 3.
That was Gold Hawk's second career start. He would win by 3.5 lengths. Let's go back to the career debut now. Always tough to debut at 7 furlongs. And keep in mind, too, he unseated jockey Ricardo Santana, so it was not an uneventful debut here on November 30th.
And it will be Gold Hawk who wins the meet finale.
So Gold Hawk would make his career debut November 30th at Churchill Downs, debuting at 7 furlongs. Would win by 2 1/4 lengths, but as I just mentioned, he unseated the rider in the post parade. It wasn't too severe, but something you don't want to have for a first-time starter. To go ahead and unseat the rider, now you're debuting at a tricky distance in 7 furlongs. And one thing I like about his 2 races so far, you can tell there's so much room for improvement for this 3-year-old son of Empire Maker out of the Honor and Glory mare, Caressing. You think of Empire Maker, he was second in the Kentucky Derby. He would go on to win the Belmont, the Florida Derby, and the Wood Memorial. He was a 3-time Grade 1 winner. Caressing herself, she was pretty darn good. She won the 2000 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She was named your 2000 champion 2-year-old filly that year, won up to 1 1/8 miles in distance. So a horse, there's so much room to improve for Gold Hawk. One thing I like about that race on December 27th is it really just started to seem about the last eighth of a mile that he was starting to stretch his legs and stride out. You could tell he was still a little bit green. As you saw in the career debut, he was sort of lugging in a little bit in that career debut, did the same thing in that allowance victory on December 27th. He got a good education though, because in the early part of that race, the horse broke well. Ricardo Santana was able to take him back going into the first turn. I think he got him a good education to go ahead and get some dirt kicked in his face. He was down inside going down the backstretch, was able to go ahead and ease him out around the backstretch, and he sort of just made this long, sustained run and a wide move and started stretches out and finished nicely in about the last eighth of a mile of that mile and 70-yard race. As far as Gold Hawk's next start, we're going to see him on Saturday, January 18th. Grade 3 Lecomte, $200,000 stakes event going a mile and 70 yards, the same distance that he won in his last race. And he's going to break from post position number 4 in a field of 9. And as we just talked about with Shared Belief, a horse for Jerry Hollendorfer that has no points towards the Kentucky Derby, Gold Hawk is in the exact same boat. He just has a maiden win and an allowance win to his credit. So whoever wins the Grade 3 Lecomte is going to get 10 points towards the Kentucky Derby as we take a look at the current standings right now, which was led by Havana for Todd Pletcher. They have 14 points with honor code for Shug McGahee. Tapiture is another horse that is a Winchell Thoroughbreds and Steve Asmussen. So I think they're going to have to keep Tapiture and Gold Hawk separated since they're from the same owner and same trainer. Bondholder for Doug O'Neill sits up there with 11 points. We can expect to see Bondholder in the Risen Star in his next start. And then you can see 5 horses with 10 points, and Rise Up, We Miss Artie, Noble Moon, and Amy's Holiday along with Cleburne and Midnight Hawk. We just saw Midnight Hawk get his 10 points for the son of Midnight Loot for Mike Pegram and Bob Baffert in the Grade 3 Sham last weekend. The road to the Kentucky Derby continues with the Lecomte Stakes, and that is January 18th, a mile and 70 yards at the fairgrounds. 10 points to the winner, 4 points if you finish second, 2 points if you finish third, and 1 point if you finish fourth. After the Lecomte, we go to Oaklawn Park for the Smarty Jones on January 20th. The Holy Bull is shaping up to be a really good race at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and a 16th. The Withers over the inner track at Aqueduct. And the Bob Lewis we're talking about on February 8th, the El Camino Real Derby at Golden Gate Fields over the synthetic in the middle of February. This has been a closer look at 2 Kentucky Derby prospects. We had Share Belief for Jerry Hollendorfer and Gold Hawk for Winchell Thoroughbreds and Steve Asmussen, as we are 108 days away for the 140th running of the Run for the Roses.